Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, something a bit different again. This is the E39 540 Touring. A few of you commented on my last video and said, yeah, we want to see it. So, here it is in all its glory. So, E39 Touring, 2002, 540. Wagon, obviously. The coolest thing about it is inside. 6-speed manual, factory 6-speed, so pretty rare car. They didn't make many of them. I don't know the exact numbers. I believe there was 12 of these. Facelift, 540 manual, 6-speed sports, but there was quite a few early cars pre-facelift which were manual as well. Obviously they weren't sport kitted from factory, I don't believe, but either way, super rare car. So this one's sat for about 2 years now. I bought it about 2.5 years ago. Did quite a lot to it at the beginning. Drove it back from Stoke and the radiator decided to explode, so that was sound. Anyway, I did all the cooling system. Let me show you the engine bay. So the car is mostly original. Got this original engine, about 160k on it. No proof of the chain or guides ever being done. It's lovely and quiet. This van off spank is a bit noisy, but other than that it's all good. About 2 years ago I did the full cooling systems. It's had new hoses, thermostat, water pump, new rads, all the associated bit, so that's all done. Did replace the rocker cover gaskets as well because they were leaking, and I had them powder coated by a company, but they've done a terrible job, and all of the as you can see, all of the rocker cover paint has come off. So even though they're magnesium and they said they do a good job, they've obviously not done a good job, so that needs redoing at some point, but not worried about that now. So yeah, super cool car. There's some pretty cool bits on it. It's fairly well spec from factory. Electric seats, auto lights, which is quite a nice touch, just down there. It's got factory nav, phone, rear blinds. These are retrofit by myself. Did these last year, so they all work, which is nice. Black interior standard. I did swap the trim out. It had an aluminium trim which was pretty battered, so I put this birch trim in, which is nice. Sorry, not birch, technical graphite. That's pretty cool. I've still got to swap the gear knob. I haven't found one that matches yet, so that's on the to-do list. Other than that, it's all pretty standard. Besides, set of front BC coilovers and a bag conversion on the front, so obviously you can dump the front. And on the rear, it's all factory. Just modified the controllers so that I can control it with the airlift. See if I can show you. So I've made these adapters so I can control the rear factory bags using the airlift controller. So the air ride's not finished, it's all in there. Got to run twin compressor. There's 3 compressors in there, but twin compressor. Shout out to my mate Joel for helping me out with some of the wiring side of things. But other than that, we've got a few bits and pieces to do. The goal of this one really is to get it back on the road as soon as possible. It's been sat a little while and I want to try and use it. We're going to go to Poland in June with a few of the boys, so hopefully going to take this car, but we've got a few bits we can do before we can MOT it. So obviously one is this boot build needs finishing. It's all going to be hidden, so it's going to be under the floor, but I still want it done and bolted down securely. There's a bit of rust in the spare wheel well, so we've got to address that. So I've got a couple of donor panels here. Originally bought this one, but it's quite crusty around this hole. Broke another E39 up myself, so cut a better one out. We've got both of those, so yeah, we need to rip all this up and then we can get to that. Besides that, we've just got to look at doing the, I haven't got front brakes for some reason. I replaced the front hard lines, had the brakes off for a while and can't get it to bleed. I assume it's something to do with the ABS system. I'm guessing I just need to pressure bleed it whilst having all the ABS pump operating. So we'll have a look at that at some point. It needs alignment on the front. I've done all the front suspension, lower arms, lem forwarder arms, the drag link, track rods. So it's had quite a lot done on the front end. The rear end needs doing bush wise, but that can wait for, you know, next year or something like that. I've got too much on at the moment. But yeah, realistically, to get back on the road, we're going to do this today, sort this hole out, make the sound head on this and get it all bolted down properly and nicely, sort the brakes out on the front so they work, and then we should be able to MOT it. We've got a few mods lined up as well. I've got a custom exhaust to go on there at some point, and a few other trick bits and pieces. But yeah, really just want to get this back on the road. So very cool car. If you're a BMW geek, you'd appreciate just how rare these are. There's not many of them around these days. Prices have gone up a little bit on them. They were kind of, these have always been worth a few quid. Obviously the 540 autos used to be pretty cheap, so there's not that many of them around, but at the end of the day, it's a cool car. It's always going to be desirable to the right people. For me, this is probably a forever car, I think. I mean, if it became worth stupid money, would I chop it in and buy something else? Maybe. Always quite fancy, like an E34 touring, but ultimately I love this car. I'm a wagon man, so we're going to stick with this for the foreseeable. Obviously I've got the yellow touring as well, and the daily E38, and you've seen the coupe that I've got down the unit. So yeah, I've got quite a collection of rare crap, but all in various states of disrepair. So we're trying to sort out this year and get on top of them. During COVID, as we all were, we were all buying cars left, right and centre and getting a bit carried away. Lots of my friends were, I was, certainly bought way too much. So the goal now is to actually focus on some of these cars and push them along. It's always hard when you're building multiple cars to split your time, your budget, your enthusiasm. But yeah, ultimately we want to start making progress on them and make them good usable cars again. So yeah, first one, let's get this boot cleared out, and we can start doing some chopping and welding and getting the first job ticked off this one. Oh, I figured I should probably show you the air ride in its full entirety as well. So I'm sure most of you know what air ride is, but for those of you who don't, it allows you to basically slam a car. So you've got a tank here which is full of air, you've got a couple of compressors which fill that, and you've got a manifold here which controls the air pressure and allows you to either raise or drop the car as you need. So these cars from factory, they have rear air rides. In the back they've got these bags. You've got this bag fitting here, so it goes to a factory airbag. So all I've done is manipulated that so I can put a like an aftermarket fitting on. So this is original, and then made, or got this produced, and then hooked it up. So yeah, pretty trick. But yeah, let's show you how that works. I'll set the camera up and you can see it in action. So that's fully dumped, so we're going to air up now and show you the drive height and the, I don't know, mega high height, full extension. So that's pretty much your drive height. So looks like a normal car more or less, maybe a touch lower, but yeah, plenty of clearance, especially on the ground. We can go even higher if we need to, if we're going over a mega speed bump, or obviously if we're towing something, or we've got a boot full of luggage, we can put more air in the rear. So technically it's still self-leveling to the point. Obviously you've got to manually do it, but you can carry a lot of weight and disguise it, kind of thing. And then that's it at full extension. So you can see, because it's all factory stuff on the rear, you've got loads of room on the bag to go right up. So if you were towing, then yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously the front, you're limited because the shock is only so long, because it's a BC coilover, so you've already shortened the shock somehow, or quite a bit. But yeah, obviously the tank only has so much stored air in it, so you could then drop it, get the car on the floor pretty quickly. And then that's a car fully dumped. So I know air ride isn't for everyone, but for me, perfect car. It's a big barge. Anyway, that's enough fun and games. Oh, quickly, the engine's running. should be more or less up to temperature. Yeah, we're up to temp. I'll give you a little rev so you can hear that. So fully standard exhaust, no mods at all. There we go, and that's the standard exhaust. So standard exhaust sounds alright, to be honest, just very muted. Obviously you've got a V8 so you want to hear it, so yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, we've got lots to do, lots to get on with, so let's get this rust sorted. It does need some new front wings, I have some of those. The rest of the bodywork isn't too bad. It probably wants a good cut and polish. It's been painted, the bonnet's pretty flat. Rust wise it's not too bad. The rear arches are just starting to go in places. But I'm going to have a bit of fun with it, get it slammed. At some point we'll put new arches in it, but there's not really a massive rush for that now. Let me show you the rust in the boot. I'll get this cleared out of the way, get the battery disconnected, and then show you what that looks like. So I just thought I'd show you where we're up to. So I've cleared, or made a bit of access. I still need to move some of these cables and reroute stuff at a later date, but we just need to get in here and address this. So first things first is just looking at this rot that's in here. You can basically see it's not actually that bad, but it's starting to fester. But my main concern when I bought the car was not the rot, because that's easily fixable, but what was causing it. It's pretty crusty, but it's fine. Basically what I think's happened was the car was parked under a tree, and as we know, trees and just general detritus, crap falls off them. It sits in all the, you know, little gullies and stuff in the car. So this one was basically, there was mud and gunk all up here, all down here, and if you think about the water that lands on the roof and in these corners, it should run down here and drain off the car. But what was happening is it was getting down to here, and it was basically full up to mud there, basically broken down bits of tree and stuff, leaves over the years. I think what was happening is, rather than the water being able to drain out through the bumper here, there should be a bit of trim here by the way, that piece of trim was just absolutely caked in mud. I've binned the trim because it was broken anyway, I'll buy some new ones. But I think what was happening is the water was sitting there because there was mud there and it wasn't draining off. It's obviously working its way under this seal, because you can see there's a little bit of rot there. I mean, that's a problem for another day. But I think what was happening is the water was getting in around this area between the seams of the metal and then working its way down down here, and then obviously ending up in the wheel well, and the lowest point is there. You can kind of see there's like water stains and stuff running down this back thing. So I did test the theory, got a hose pipe on the car whilst I was sat in it, and I'm like 99% certain it was coming from those drains being blocked or not clear, so it couldn't actually get rid of the water. So the car has sat like this all winter, and we've had a terribly wet winter, and there's no more moisture in here. So I'm happy I got to the bottom of what the leak was, which is my main concern. But yeah, now that's done, we can actually cut this out and get this metal repaired. So you can kind of see, I don't know which one of these I'm going to use yet, but you can kind of see that cut there fixes that. Now what I would say is both of these cuts I've got are from saloons. Obviously this being a Touring has got some extra bracing, but looking at the panel, it looks like this piece is all the same. You can see you've got this brace here, but yeah, luckily it hasn't gone too far over, so I don't need to cut into this. All I'm really going to cut out is around here, square that off, come down on this seam here, there, and back up along the edge. So obviously we need to wire wheel it and check how far it's spread, but yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. So we've got a couple of donor panels there. I'm thinking I'm going to actually cut this drain out and patch it up and seal it up forever, because both of these donor cuts, they're both a bit crusty around where the drain is, because it's obviously a problem on these cars. So yeah, I think I'm going to seal that up. I mean, if you ever get water in here, you need to address it. You don't want to be using the drain to let it out. Just figure out why it's leaking, fix it, and then you can get the water out easy. It's no big deal. Ironically, with that drain in there, it's never going to stop it from filling up with water because the drain is in there. So by the time you realise there's water in there, you know, there's other ways of getting water out than relying on a drain. And at the end of the day, if this car's a long-term keeper, I don't really want to be leaving anything that's going to make it rot unnecessarily, I guess. So whilst we've got the welder, I think we'll do a better fix on that. But yeah, so next up, let's rip this out, disconnect this setup, and then we can start cutting out and seeing what rot we've got. So that's our factory compressor removed. This one's actually all working, happy. I'm not going to bin it, I'm going to keep it. If I ever want to put the car back to standard and sell it, then I've got the setup. So yeah, that's all easily returnable. And there's the base plate. Happy days. Right, so next up we're going to wire wheel this and see what metal is left. Straight in with the old grinder-roo. So that's where with that. As I've spread too far, we'll cut that around there somewhere, come down here. I'm just deciding whether to head down this side just to eliminate this. I mean, it's not that grey, but welding onto rusty thin metal is never fun. So just deciding whether to come down here and go down that, or whether to just come down here and stick to that and then go down here. Obviously want to eliminate that, that's pretty crusty there. All of that's pretty thin. So yeah, that's pretty what I'm going to do. Let's have a quick look underneath. You can see where the hole is there. It's weird because usually you're dealing with rock that's spreading from the inside out, and this is spreading from the inside out, but it's quite nice to be doing it on an area where there's no seams or anything. It's pretty straightforward repair actually. So yeah, that's happy days. Right, that's our nice rust hole. Won't lie, it's pretty terrifying cutting a hole of that size in the most expensive car I've ever bought. I won't tell you how much I paid, but yeah, most expensive car I've ever bought, and you're making holes that big. But yeah, anyway, that's that cut out. So yeah, you can see the grot that was lingering. So well worth doing that. Interestingly, this first panel I got from a saloon, I now know why I got another donor cut, because if you look inside there, it actually cracked. There's like a crack in the metal, so don't know what that's about. But yeah, so we're not going to use this one. We're probably going to use that one, even though that looks worse. I think the metal on that is much nicer. But yeah, so that's where at the moment. I've just cleaned this up. I've still got a little bit more wire wheel around here. This needs a fresh grommet putting in. But yeah, just give it a quick wire wheel. I also need to attack the underside as well. So obviously when you're welding, all of this seam sealer is going to ignite. So yeah, we need to get the wire wheel around all of this, clean up all of this edge, take the seam sealer or under seal right back so it doesn't ignite. So yeah. Right, we've prepped that. So next up we're going to start to get this piece cut down. Obviously this needs a lot of prep before we weld it in, but we need to actually get the size where we want to trim it down. So what we're going to do is lay the old piece on top, get it lined up quite nicely. Quite an easy one to do actually, because it's got so many curves on it, it sort of lines itself up. And we're just going to mark with a blade or some sort of device a score in it, and then we're going to cut on the outside edge of it, and then that should give us a perfect size piece to go back in the car. Right, that's our piece we're going to use. So I prepped it wide off the west of the underseal on the back so it doesn't catch fire when we're welding. Obviously wire weld all these edges. I've cut up this bung. As I said to you, I'm going to weld in a plate in there and get rid of that bung because it seems to be a problem area. And yeah, then she's almost ready to go in. Alright, so that's now trimmed and prepped and all ready to be welded in. So quite a nice fit. A couple of slightly bigger gaps there and there than I want, but I'm sure I can get them welded in without too much drama. So yeah, set the time lapse up and get this welded in. If you think about it, that's almost a meter's worth of continuous welding. You think that's probably foot and a half. I don't know. So yeah, it's quite a lot of welding actually, but yeah, glad to see that rust gone and some nice fresh metal back in there. Right, I've shown you enough, you get the gist. So when you're welding in a panel of this size, you don't want to create too much heat in one area. So you basically want to weld a bit over here and then go over there and then go over there and then down here. So that's basically what I'm doing, just to minimise the amount of heat. If it was an exterior panel on a car, I think I'd probably do smaller stitches, 3 or 4 tacks and then move. But this being a boot floor, I mean, it can warp a little bit. I don't care that much. But yeah, that's that. So I'll bring you back in once we're finished. Right, that's all now welded. That's in there lovely, so I'm happy with that. Just got to clean up some of these welds. I mean, if it was a daily drive, a ship box, I probably wouldn't bother, but I quite like the car, so if I can make it a almost invisible repair, that would be nice. But yeah, it's all done. So obviously we're going to grind back all of this top layer, knock all these welds back, get it all flat, prime, and then on the underside wire wheel all around the welds, knock back any underseal that's burnt because there was a few little fires, and then again just flat the underside and then prime. Right, there we go, all finished up. I've not gone crazy trying to flat those welds down because I don't want to thin the floor. The metal's all pretty thin in here, so that's done. I've also just given me a good wire wheel where the welds were. Obviously any underseal that's caught fire has been wire wheeled off. So last up, we're going to etch prime and then put some sort of Gravitex coating. I'm going to do that off camera, I won't do that today. But yeah, I haven't got my compressor at home, so I need to take the car to the workshop to be able to do that. But anyway, that's a nice little repair done. Small little pinhole there, we'll fill that in. But yeah, nice repair done, happy with that. That's one job off the list. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one, a bit different with the 540. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing more of it, let me know. Make sure you comment below. If no one comments, I'm not going to do any more on it, but if you comment, let me know, then I will do some more. Beyond this, next video could be doing the boot build. That might be an interesting watch. I've never done one before, so we can do that together. But yeah, stay tuned. Get another video up on the coupe soon as well. That's coming pretty soon. I've made some progress on that, so you'll see that in the near future. Right, peace out guys.